Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss The Royal Tenenbaums, starring Gene Hackman, Danny Glover, Angelica Houston, Gwyneth Paltrow, Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, Ben Stiller, and Bill Murray, and directed by Wes Anderson. Sorry I'm a little late to get into this show. It was just so many distractions around these days. But I have heard of this movie coming out in 2002 and wanted to see it, and then I saw it once on video. I forget how long ago. It was probably before Grand Budapest Hotel, maybe after that. But what did I think of it? We'll see. Let's get into it. The movie opens with a narration by Alec Baldwin like a book, and Royal and Ethelene Tenenbaum, played by Gene Hackman and Angelica Houston, are getting a divorce and have 3 children named Chaz, Richie, and Margot. Margot's adopted. And across the street is a friend of the Tenenbaums named Eli Cash, who sleeps over with the permission, and we get started off in a dark world of the Tenenbaums, plus husbands, sons, family pet, butler, all their stories, which I'll talk about in the show. It's kind of a dysfunctional family is what this movie is about, and there will be some quirky dark comedy. I also like when we're done with the prologue, we know the actors' characters are, who they are at least. Gene Hackman playing the movie's title, Royal Tenenbaum, is a troubled character, but I do miss him in the movies like the original Superman with Christopher Reeve, or The Replacements, but I grew up to like the character by the end of the movie. Luke Wilson as Richie Tenenbaum is on a cruise, maybe living there for a little bit. But like Bottle Rocket, I really liked Luke Wilson's character, but the character who I thought was just okay is Eli Cash, adult by the way, played by his brother in real life, Owen Wilson. But they do have something in common. They are both in love with Margot Tenenbaum, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, the adopted one. Now, here she seems a little bit shallow, whereas unlike the Iron Man films and her husband, Riley St. Clair, played by Bill Murray, who I had fun with in this movie, and felt like she should have stayed with him at the end of the movie. Chaz, played by Ben Stiller, and his 2 boys, Ari and Uzi, and their family dog, Buckley. I like 3 of those characters, Ari, Uzi, and Buckley. Chaz is the character I didn't like, even though I like Ben Stiller, but his character is too grounded and way too overprotective in my opinion. Ethelene, played by Angelica Houston, who I always get the impression is going to do something evil, but don't get me wrong, I don't mind the actress, but she's got a presence of the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. No offense to Miss Houston. Ethelene's client, Harry Sherman, played by Danny Glover, who's a widower, and he is in love with Ethelene. At a point, he wants to marry her, but Gota, the butler, overhears it and tells Royal and Danny Glover I like him as an actor, and I like his character here, unlike the color purple, but he suddenly tells Ethelene he's in love with her out of the fucking blue, which is so weird in so many different levels. Chaz moves in with his boys and the dog at his old home, and Margot is doing the same thing, and Royal unexpectedly telling Ethelene he's dying, which is a fucking lie, and we won't find out until later in the movie. And Richie comes home from his cruise, so the Tenenbaum family are home together for the first time in 17 years. And Royal is trying to get his family back, while Henry is in the marriage hiatus list from Ethelene. I thought all of a sudden all that sounds nice until Chaz becomes a prick about it. Royal gets thrown out of the hotel he starts living in, the Tenenbaums home, for the first time in 17 years, led by Richie, and Chaz almost kicks Royal out of the house, and Royal has a stroke, and the doctor recommends he stays in the house for a little while and bonds with his sons of Chaz, aka the 2 grandkids, which I really enjoyed these moments. Meanwhile, Margot has an affair with Eli while married to Riley, and Richie is in love with her. Is kind of an interesting love triangle. Royal is eventually kicked out of the Tenenbaum house because Henry finds out about his medication being a bunch of bullshit, and Royal and Bagoda work at the Hotel Royal used to live in to make some money. And Richie and Riley find out Margot is a smoker, and Richie decides to shave his long beard off, cuts his arms, and suddenly hospitalize. All of this is way too overdramatic, with the fact that I felt really bad for Richie because I really cared for the character. I like the fact that Richie has a father to love because I'm in that position, but family matters might have to be talked about some other time, but Wes Anderson does a good job of mixing dark comedy with reality. Richie and with Royal and Bagoda to try to take Eli into an insane asylum, but Eli fools them to get away, and that was funny in a dumb kind of way. Royal decides to make things right with not just Richie, but Ethelene, Henry, Chaz, Margot, and Royal get invited with Bagota to Ethelene and Henry's wedding until Eli crushes a car to their house and kills Buckley by accident, and Chaz starts chasing Eli and throws him over the fence, was just too fucking hysterical. And that's when Eli realizes he needs help, but Royal gives Chaz and the boys another dog, this time a Dalmatian, which, nice dogs by the way. Royal earns forgiveness from Chaz, and was Chaz there for Royal's death, which did make me sad. But it was a very caring ending, with the whole family plus a few of his friends showing up to the funeral. They cared for Royal at the end of the movie, and that was a nice message to go for. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.2 out of 10. It is a dark comedy with a little light in it, with family, and I really liked the movie's message about forgiveness at the end. Wes Anderson does a better job here than in Rushmore, and there was some more than other characters I cared for. So I would like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, or Zissou, or something like that. I have to watch the movie to figure that out. But before I say goodbye, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe, watch some more videos, and please leave a positive comment in the bottom. And until next time, quirkiness.